Good morning and welcome to the Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. This is intended especially for solopreneurs as a support. We get together because we enjoy each other's company. We enjoy sharing information and supporting one another and experimenting together. Now this morning, we've got people coming in at the last minute here. We're going to be talking about virtual reality. So I think that just in the interest of time, that I will try introducing everyone. And first of all, I want to just say that one of our regular viewers, Alana, her mom passed away, so she is not with us this morning. And so if she happens to watch this, we give her our deepest sympathy for her loss. She's in Ireland and her mom is in the US, so that's bound to be complicated. So we have David Flannery with us, and he is in Illinois, and he creates affordable websites for small business.
And we are getting through Zoom or through YouTube and the website.
Oh, it's going through. That's good news. Thank you. And we have Fred Jones with us, and he is in BC right now, in Victoria. Fred facilitates leadership and community building for youth. Good morning, Fred. And let's see, who else have I got in my list here? Paul Murray is here, and he's also in Victoria, in my neighborhood, actually. Good morning, Paul. Paul helps startups turn ideas into profitable action. And let's see who else we have. We have Vivek here, and Vivek is in the UK, and he simplifies life and business by unifying different technologies and developing software. And I just need to make sure I've got everybody that was here. I might just say that I'm Lolan, and I coach retirees who want to create an online business.
You need to introduce Fred.
And I thought I introduced Fred already.
I'm sorry. I must have been chat or monitoring chat.
So now I want to change my screen and introduce our guest here this morning, Shani Thomson, a friend of mine, also here in Victoria. And I've heard her talking about virtual reality for quite some time now. And I have lots of curiosity about it, and we finally sort of talked about that at one stage of the game, all of us in here, and said, well, none of us know anything about it, about virtual reality. And I said, oh, I know somebody who does. So now Shani is a member of the choir that I belong to, so she's an honorary tenor, by the way. And when we're not busy with pandemic, she makes a living at face painting, and she's a very talented artist. So now just let me change my screen here a little bit so that I can make sure that we can cover what we need to. I need to cancel Spotlight and just go there. So Shani, I have a ton of questions, as I'm sure the others will as well.
Excellent.
So, well, first of all, what attracted you to even going in that direction? What was it that attracted you?
Well, when it first came to me, it wasn't actually my device. My son is the one that wanted this thing, and I really knew nothing about it at all. It was a Christmas gift to him. He's 9 years old, and it was a sort of a family gift actually to all of us because frankly it's a very expensive piece of equipment. And as I got familiar with it, I realized that it's an amazing connection to other people. And that's definitely what drew me into this piece of equipment for sure.
Right. And most of us wouldn't even know that that community aspect, and we'll get to that point. But I have some other burning questions. First of all, so you purchased. You might probably went to Amazon and just purchased it from Amazon.
Something
So
like
say again.
probably from Oculus. No, I'm not actually the one that purchased it, but online. Yep, you can purchase it locally.
Yeah.
As well, Best Buy, what have you. Yep.
Okay. So Oculus, that's the brand as I understand. Yeah. I did do a little research. So okay, so you got this piece of equipment. How does it hook up? Does it hook up through your computer, or does it connect to your modem with Bluetooth, or does it connect up through your phone? How does that work?
So there are all sorts of different types of virtual reality devices. This particular one is wire free, and it's completely a standalone device. So you don't need a computer to set it up. You don't have to have any cables attached to anything at all. You can just use it as it is anywhere that you are. You can use it offline. There are lots of things you can do offline, or you can also connect in via Wi-Fi. You can use a hotspot to connect as well. So you could go anywhere with this. If I wanted to go camping, I could take it with me camping or anything like that. So this,
But
yeah,
it must have a battery in it. Then must have to charge it.
that's right. Yep, there's a plug in the side. I'll just show you. This is it. This is the one here.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a what is that, USB-C, I think, plug,
Oh yes.
USB, and that can plug into any wall outlet, or
Yes.
I use
Yeah.
it for some use. Now you can hook it into a computer and turn it into a PC based VR equipment as well. And you don't actually need a cord, but you can use a virtual desktop for it or not if you choose not to as
A
well.
virtual desktop. Now, what's that?
So virtual desktop will allow you to see whatever is on your computer on your headset, so that you can run
Okay.
Steam or another type of game playing
Mm-hmm.
program through that. And there are other games that are available that aren't necessarily through your headset without being attached to a computer.
Wow. And the device that you're showing, I think the first time I ever saw one, it was cardboard.
That's
I
right.
remember it was probably Vivek way back in Ronnie Bincer's time. Do you remember? I'm sure we saw somebody with a cardboard one. Wow, look at that. Okay, so the other thing that I needed to know is, like, do you have to have a separate headset or earphones, or how does that work?
So it has built-in earphones in it. You can't actually even see them in this device. I'm not sure how they hide them in there, because it
Wow.
seems like perfectly in your ears. It may be in the armbands that are over your ears here.
Oh,
Has speakers built in there, and the microphone is under here. But you can also plug in. There's a headphone jack on
mhm.
the here, so that you can use headphones. And there are different types that can attach here and clip on and maneuver down if you want that as well. So there's a lot of modifications. They call them Frankenquest, if you're modifying your device to have different. This one has a few mods, the comfort strap on the head back, and I have a battery in the back here, so that I mean, it runs for a few hours, but depending on what I'm doing, I might need to charge it after a couple of hours. Not that I'm playing for hours, but
Mm-hmm.
if there's that available for you, all sorts of different ways to add extra
Wow.
energy for you.
So when I went on Amazon and looked at an Oculus, it was $550.
Hmm.
So that gives everybody a sense of the level that we're talking about here. So,
So reportedly, there's one coming out in the next couple of weeks that will be a sort of Oculus Quest 2 that could be less expensive, could be the same, we're not sure, could be lighter weight, maybe not. We'll see.
aha. So everybody's waiting on bated breath, no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, so now these are these technical questions were the things that were that came up for me when I was doing a little bit of research online. I think it was Wikipedia that said VR devices are used mainly by gamers, but it also said it talked about simulators and trainers, whatever that means, and that one piece that I found and found quite interesting is that VR devices are now being used in the medical training to teach people who are trying to learn how to be a surgeon, for example, that they're able to do simulations without practicing on a real person. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And the other use that was mentioned online was military training. And I didn't fully understand that, whether you had to learn to shoot a gun using a simulator or how on earth they would use a simulator. I don't know. But those were some things that I read online. And so when we get, before we get to talking about how you're using your device and your experience, I just want to know, I want to make sure, does anybody else in the group here have any questions? No. David.
Yes. Can you use this to run regular software like a word processor or a spreadsheet or web pages?
So they're working on that sort of integration where you can manage your entire desktop and their various web browsers right in virtual reality. It's sort of a workspace amalgamation that's sort of ongoing, and there are a few things that have that ability. They're not perfect yet, but they're definitely, it's definitely coming for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And one more question, if I may.
Go ahead.
How long can you use this normally? I mean, is this something you can use for a half hour and then have to take it off and take a 5-minute break, or can you use it for 2 hours? Or
Oh, it definitely depends on what you're doing and how used to it you are. For children, they say, half an hour, an hour. But I can go a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours. I might want to take a little bit of a break, but I might not need to as well. It sort of depends on like I say, what you're doing. If you're doing something that's extremely intense, and you might want to just spend an hour. But as far as battery life goes, it can go, like I said, depending on what you're using, it can go probably 3 or 4 hours before you're really needing to fully charge it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have another question, but before I forget, we have another one of our members, Javita, who is in Mumbai, India, and she's outside on the YouTube. So she is saying, um greetings. She said, hello, Shani. And uh, she's also saying this sounds like it might be really useful technology. So um, she's listening out there and participating. So the other thing that I remember from the early days was that people said they got dizzy when they put this thing on. They got, they got vertigo, and it was sort of hard to get used to. So did you go through something like that, Shani?
I would say that the graphics have improved so much that it's easier for your brain to associate being in a completely different world. Although, depending on how you're moving around, that definitely comes into play. If you're just smoothly moving, that can take a time to get adjusted to. They have something called a transportation mode, where this kind of has you transporting from one spot to another instead of shifting smoothly. That can definitely cause some issues. But it also takes a little while to develop what we call VR legs. That's what we call it. And it just to get used to that whole different way of moving. And you can fly in VR, and that takes a little bit. Some people just can't do that.
Right.
To feeling sick over that kind of thing. But it does take time to develop, for sure, and it's possible. So it's improved a lot, I would say. And I would suggest that anyone that's new to it, just take it slow and take it easy and get used to it gradually.
Okay. And Javita is asking, is VR harmful for the eyes? And somebody else said asked that question. What about if you're nearsighted, or if you have to wear glasses, for example? How does that work?
Well, so with the VR, there are the two lenses that I showed you earlier here. And when you're in VR and you're looking off to the distance or close up, so your eyes are constantly changing focus. You're not sort of sitting staring at something that's an inch from your eyes all the time. So it's more of a natural way of looking around, I would say, than you might even expect. Now, as far as glasses go, there are lenses that you can purchase that fit perfectly inside, so that you don't need to be wearing your glasses with them. I believe there are also spacers so that you can wear your glasses if you find that comfortable, so that there's no rubbing of lenses and glasses together, so that there's no scratching. So
Wow.
options available for people that do wear glasses.
Interesting. Wow. Because many of us myself included, have a special pair that we wear for computing. The lenses are set for the distance, the appropriate distance that you might be using.
There's a slider on the bottom that adjusts. Now I think that might be with the width adjustment that you're doing, but it definitely is more. Yeah, it's the width of the lenses. So you're adjusting that, and that helps to some degree. I do have a friend who wears glasses who just recently found that they don't need to wear them at all with the Quest.
Oh.
I think they're bifocals maybe, but they found that to be much easier, and that the distance was enough so that they could see even more clearly without them. So
Really?
sort of depends on the person, I suppose, and what they're using.
Yeah. Well, and and it depends on the kind of glasses you wear and all of that. Yeah.
Right.
So I see David has his hand up with a question.
Yeah. What kind of signal is it using? Is it using wireless internet, so you have to have a wireless signal, or are you using 4G or 5G cellular technology?
So it's a wireless. It connects via wireless, but it is dependent on your own home network, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing something social with other people and you have a 5G local, it's much faster that way. If you're trying to say I want to stream a movie and share with my friends, if I've got a better home network, then that works. But yeah, it's just with wireless right now, I think, for this one.
Mm. So I think that unless anybody has another sort of technical question, I just wanted to get all those things out of the way, because none of the rest of it would make any sense to us if we weren't able to plug it into the things that we already know. So Shani, I know, I mean, you've already mentioned that you got enthusiastic because you were able to connect up with other people and connect with a community. So can you talk about that? How that works? How, I mean, let's say I just got a new gizmo, and I finally figured out how to connect it up, and all those practical things. Then what do I do?
Well, like you said earlier, this is definitely a gamer's, to start, it's sort of a gamer's device. So
Mhm.
there are just tons of games that you can play. There are demos that you can download and try out first before you purchase the games. And then when you start doing that, you start to discover these social games as well. Um, like there's one called Space, which is it's a social uh, it's a social game that allows you to interact on a as an avatar in a world with other people. You can meet up with them, people
Mhm.
from the world, just like this, and you can build worlds as well. And that was a huge attraction to me, for sure. Apart
Mhm.
from from the all sorts of fun games that you can play as well.
Mm. Okay, so you got into it through the gaming world.
I would say that, yeah, I didn't even know that the social world existed when I first
Mhm.
popped in. It was all about my son, what games can I play, or what
Mhm.
can I do?
Right. And so you got into that. Now I've heard you talking about you belong to a community of people. I know that.
Right. So early, when I first discovered it, I went searching for Facebook groups that might be related to this, because I wanted to know more about it and what it could do for me and what I could do. And I discovered a group called Oculus Quest for 40 and up.
Okay.
A lot of us older people that we're not the kids that are super into gaming, and we want to ask silly questions and not feel like we're asking something that's silly, or we want to connect with people that are closer to our own age.
Mhm.
So I joined that group and found that there were meetups happening with it. In, like I said, in Altspace, we could meet up once a week and share our experiences or just chat with each other, and then have the Facebook group to bounce questions off each other and arrange different meetups and things. And I'm a moderator for it now, and have been for a few months. And it's it's been wonderful to have that connection outside of the Oculus Quest as well, to share and learn from each
Mm.
other.
So you get together with this group. I mean, you've connected to people via Facebook, but you also get together in while you're using virtual reality.
Hmm. That's right. We've been having weekly meetups where we up to 30 or so of us will get together. It's usually more like, maybe a dozen,
Hmm.
and we'll have we'll all stand in a circle, and we'll all introduce ourselves and have a question that we answer every week, probably similar to what you do here. We might have somebody to talk to about something interesting, or
Hmm.
have we might explore different worlds together, or play some games together. Some of these social games are, you can have groups together to play something together,
Hmm.
like maybe all go bowling together virtually if we want to.
Hmm.
So that's a good way to connect with each other.
So I've heard you talk about going fishing.
Oh yes, recently.
So this is David is going to perk up his ears because he takes his grandchildren fishing.
I've got a video to show that just shows a bit about
Oh,
this.
good.
And so you can fish by yourself, or you can go with up to 4 people in a room fishing. And it's made by a company that's based in South Korea. So currently the locations are all there, and they're all quite spectacular to be able to fish from whether it's a lake or a river catching freshwater fish, or you might be on a boat in the ocean catching marlin or sharks or pufferfish, or and it's so realistic. The beautiful scenery and these gorgeous fish are pulling up, and you can talk with your friends while you're doing it. It's wonderful.
Okay, so that before you show what you're going to show, that brings up the fact that it seems that there is a whole field out there where people are creating what are virtual realities for people to tap into.
Mm-hmm.
So that would require a fair amount of artistic ability, maybe dramatic ability. I don't know whether music is involved at all, but it sounds like there's a field of work out there, because I get the sense that when you find something like this, you test it out and then you decide whether you're going to purchase it. Am I right?
Do you mean the actual headset itself or the different game?
No. I mean the let's use as the example this fishing experience. Somebody created that, right? And so as a user or a participant, do you have to go in and buy that reality?
That's right. Yeah. That's just
okay. So it's a field where people can create things and make a living.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's just like any other video game, I would say, except that the testing probably needs to be maybe a little bit more thorough. Maybe not. It's probably the same. They have beta testers and alpha testers, just like they do for other types of software and video games.
Okay. So it's all based on sort of a gaming software.
As far as I know, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
there's Vivek waving.
I was going to say, I mean, you could add tourist industry, for example, rather than showing just static pictures or even showing them videos of the pictures. Create a virtual environment where you have a sample of how you would feel when you are there in the tourist location. So there was a not a virtual reality thing, but there was a slightly different one where, I mean, when I visited the Windsor Castle here in UK, where I am, they had a device which you can key in the number, and it will tell you what's the significance of that particular location, history, etc., etc. But this was just an audio device, and you had to tell it where you are by keying in the number. Whereas if it is a virtual device which explains to you all that, so tourist industry is a great example. It could even be for people like David Flannery for real estate. Rather than taking people into the real house, create a video or whatever of the house, so and just give them the virtual reality tour. They can be in that house without actually being in the house. So
I'm actually taking my first pictures today for that. Um, where to go? I just had it here a minute ago. Anyway, I got a 360-degree camera that does that and the software that goes with it. And I don't know if you can hook up a VR set to it, but probably you can. And you'll be able to walk through the house.
Mm.
But I haven't gotten that far with it. I'm just now experimenting. There's my camera. Yeah. And that will, it's pretty neat. With your computer, you can go through the whole,
yeah.
the whole house and see every room and be able to go around 360 degrees. So I would imagine a VR set would work great because then you'd be able to just walk right through it.
Yeah.
Wow. So I see Javita is asking, is it a kind of augmented reality?
No. So you can create augmented reality using VR, but as I don't know of any augmented. See, that's a tricky question.
I don't even know what that means. What does augmented reality mean?
So that would be incorporating things in the actual physical world with the virtual world.
I see. Okay. Wow.
I did mention that in one of your previous success circles, Loveland, where I think it is IKEA, the furniture company, European one, where they you go on their website and then you can take your phone and take a picture of your in a video form. You start the video, and then they will show you that furniture in your
room,
home as it were. So that is augmented reality.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There is an example of that just happened a few days ago that was an augmented reality within VR. So I'm not sure how many of you have heard of the Burning Man festival that happens every year in Nevada. Well, this year it was canceled and they decided to put the entire thing into virtual reality in Altspace. They recreated the whole entire thing online. Mm-hmm. Now, a friend of mine was visiting an event the other night, and he took a video of a DJ that was a physical person, an augmented reality. It looked like a hologram almost in this virtual reality. So they were doing like a live DJ set and you could see their whole body in this virtual world while they were there as their virtual self. Now that is just very mind blowing, but it's happening. It's all happening that we are able to do that. And that's just the first example that I've seen so far. And I'm sure there are many more.
Oh, wow. Well,
now, when it was mentioned earlier about being able to look inside of a home and tourism, that is happening. There's an app called Wander, which is almost like being inside of Google Earth or Google Street View, where you can walk down roads, visit anywhere in the world. And now I've also visited here in Victoria, we have a castle called Craigdarroch Castle. Mm-hmm. And you can go inside and take that virtual tour and look around just with that 360-degree camera with your headset on and see it in full 360. You can also visit the British Museum, and there are other things around the world that you can visit and feel like you are there checking out. So that's very exciting.
Well, it is, especially when we see our travel industry as not going to be the kind of options that we used to think of. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it'll be available to more people soon, I'm sure.
So, David Flannery, can you please share the instrument you just showed? This is from Javita. You're muted, David.
I'm getting ready to put a link into
in the comments so
yeah.
she can see it. Okay, thank you. Right. So, Shani, I know you have some things to show us. Unless there are other questions from our group. Any other questions, practical questions or observations? Yeah, so go ahead and show us what you were planning on showing us.
Okay. So I have I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully this is going to be going okay while I get it going.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. So this is a virtual boardroom that I will just pop myself into for a moment here, and it's called Spatial. Let's see. All right. See my little self down at the bottom there. Hopefully I will.
Yes, I can see you.
Up.
This is amazing. Oh, now she left.
Hold on, I should be back.
Oh, yes. Oh, you've got your cat.
I don't want to do too much talking because there's a wicked echo.
Yes. So this is a virtual boardroom, huh? Oh, there's Google. So now you're able to share a screen, another screen that you have on your computer, I guess. But now you can see, we can see that Shani turned all the way around. Wow. So now that's, I see it says it's called VR Exploration. Oh.
Okay, I just wanted to close that because the Zoom that's happening is a little bit too distracting. So this is something else that it's called Facebook Horizon, and it's a new experience that's going to be happening soon. I'm just going to play this for you, and I'm not sure if I can share the sound or not.
It's down in the left-hand corner of the share screen.
Yeah, mine is a little bit different because I'm on a Mac.
Oh.
But it doesn't.
Even on a Mac, it's pretty much same. I have a Mac myself.
Can you hear that okay?
Right here. On my face. Welcome. This is Horizon.
Volume needs to be turned up a little.
Appointed spokes avatar, here to show you around. You know, Horizon is filled with possibilities. You can play stuff, make stuff, fly stuff. Whoa! Really love the stash, Stuart.
What up, Stuart?
Wait, I want a mustache. Horizon isn't about rules or limits or pants. Or people telling you not to fly an airplane while drinking your fresh ground, fair trade, French press morning coffee through a curly straw. Isn't that right, Debbie? Mm-hmm. Making your mark. Making friends with an Australian named Mark.
Actually, I'm from New Zealand.
And you can
amazing.
So that one is that. So that's a product from Facebook that's just being released. It's just being tested right now. And it's a world similar to Altspace where you can create your own worlds. Apparently you'll be able to create your own games as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. It's currently available to beta test only in the US, but hopefully will be rolled out with the rest of the world soon. Now, the first thing that I was showing you is Spatial. That's a Boardroom app where that you're able to share your screen, share a web browser. You can bring in models. It's got a lot of use in the military as well for connecting people. They don't have to do meetings
Right.
person. They'll be able to do it over distances. A lot of companies are already using things like this, which is amazing to hear. I've got a couple of other things to show you. So I've got the real fishing.
Oh, yes, we have to see the fishing.
Okay, so this is the fishing. This is the edition that they just released about a month ago, where you can fish together. Before that, it was just you were fishing by yourself. Now you can fish with your family. So we'll put this one on.
I used to go fishing with my dad.
Missing the days, no problems, just you and I.
We always had such great father and son time.
Care to fish?
Does it feel like you're actually bringing the fish in and it's fighting?
Yep, there's fighting going on for sure, and it really feels like you're there. Unfortunately, the quality of that video wasn't the best, but when you're playing, it's spectacular. You've got the waves, all the sounds are there. You've got the vibrations are happening from the pulling. It's great. So there's also things that you can do that are exercise related. Now, a lot of people have been using VR for that purpose. Right now, during this pandemic, people aren't getting out, going to the gym like they were before. They're doing it at home. They're doing some amazing things. I've been playing disc golf in Rec Room sometimes. I play a game called Beat Saber, and I've got a video of one called Synth Riders that I'll show you now. It's to music, and it gets you pretty active. So let's just see what Synth Riders is all about. Now, this video uses a bit of augmented reality that you can do if you hook up your computer as with it. And people that are creating these videos are doing this. This one can be multiplayer as well. So that was a quick one, but you really get the idea that it feels like you're in a 1980s video game and these things are flying at you and you are moving to the music and it's like you're dancing. Quite amazing. You can do it with other people too, which is really fun. I've got one from Burning Man. Now this is an Altspace, and for Burning Man, they created some amazing worlds. And this one, they projected a music video on the entire sky. I wasn't able to see it myself, but this is sort of a little tiny bit of how the experience looked. I'll just hit play on this, and hopefully it's not too trippy going out to you over there. All right. So you can see the people down at the bottom kind of watching this happening around them.
really interesting. Wow.
We'll just pause there. You've got the idea. It's a 5-minute long video. I'm not going to put you through that. It gives you an idea.
It's amazing, though. Yeah. So the people that are in this particular view, are these the other people that you're in that game with?
That's right. And with this particular game, you can actually attend this event even if you don't have a VR headset. You can view it on your own computer in 2 dimensions, like we are seeing it here. And you can be one of these avatars. Your arms won't move around, but you can move around and interact with people just the same, which is pretty cool. So yeah, these are all the other people. You can customize your face, your hair, your outfit, everything to look more like
your own avatar.
You can even have a green beard or purple hair or whatever you want, which is
wow.
We talked about connecting with other people. Now, this is an app that has just been released. It's simple for now, but it allows you to connect with family. That's kind of the purpose of it, is families connecting with each other.
Oh. Oh, that looks familiar to me. Wow. So this is taking something like what we're doing right now, zoom way out beyond what we're able to do now. Wow.
Yeah, and those guided tours are just the tourism things you were talking about. You can take a guided tour, go on a balloon ride, all sorts of things.
Wow. And what's this one called, Shani?
This is called Alcove.
Alcove. Oh.
This one is a free app. There are quite a lot that don't cost anything, which is kind of interesting. I've got one more, and this is one that's creation. So we were talking about the creative side of things, and this one has any sound, but it lets you paint and draw and create things in 3 dimensions. This is just one of many apps that will do this for you. And there's no sound to this one, but you don't really need sound to get the idea of what's going on here. It's quite amazing to be able to in 3 dimensions.
Wow. So I can visualize that being used by designers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone creating almost anything that's physical or even something that's in the video game world, they would be they can create in something like that. There are more powerful programs like using things called Unity that allow you to create three-dimensional objects for use in all these different worlds and all these different types of games that we have access to, that everybody does, which is pretty fantastic.
That was amazing, Shani. I had a hard time. We've had conversations about this before, but I had a hard time visualizing what the experience would be like.
It's quite incredible. Yeah, for sure.
Now, let's see. Shani Javita says it can be useful for any industry, like meditation. She says.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's some amazing apps for meditation. There's one called Trip that I think I showed you at one time. That is just a relaxing way that things are kind of coming at you, and it covers breathing, and a lot of us find things like even the fishing to be a really relaxing way to unwind at the end of the day. It's just a nice thing to do.
I'm sure David would agree with that one.
Yes, I would.
So any comments or questions from our group? Fred.
Yeah, I saw an application where you could go to a refugee camp, and I'm not sure how much interaction you could do with the people in the refugee camp, but you could look around and find out what's going on. So you could take people to a refugee camp and they could see the actual people. So it must have been a 360 camera. But the fact that, I guess it's similar to tourism, and the fact that you say you can connect with people, but when you're connecting at the moment, like you say you have people around the circle, it's just your avatar at the moment. You're not actually seeing the people. Whereas in the refugee camp, if I recall, they were almost interacting, or they were at least listening to the people, and they could go to each person and see what's going on in that, and listen to them at least. I don't think there was any real interaction with them because it couldn't have been live. Must have been a 360 video. But I see a lot of applications like that ultimately. So it's really, I don't know if it's more of a comment, but the future, that you've really given us an eye-opener to the future. An eye-opener is really true, because that's where we're seeing things. And these are still early days.
Yes.
And I really appreciate what I saw. I'm going to have to leave at the top of the hour. I have another meeting to go to. So I thought I would interject a little bit now. I don't know what your comments are about what you see in the future, because of that interaction with refugees or connecting with people, real live people, rather than avatars. Do you see anything like that coming?
Definitely. I think that this is definitely a way of the future for sure. And I think that could be where we go. There is a pass through on the camera where if I double tap it, now suddenly there are cameras and I can see everything that's around me in the room, in black and white for now, but I'm sure that can change. So incorporating that with whatever world is happening around you, or even if it's at a different location, I think that is definitely something that can be happening in the future for sure. Yeah, it's very, very exciting times indeed.
Wow. Well, Shani, and knowing your creative abilities, I can see you diving in there and creating a reality. I can see it. I can see it as plain as day.
Yeah. I'll have to put up my virtual tiki bar that I built in Altspace at some point.
Oh dear. Any other comments? We usually only go half an hour. We try to only go a half an hour. It never happens, Shani. It never happens in a million, because we get so many interesting things. But I just want to thank you for participating and showing us and sharing what you're doing, and I'm sure that took a little bit of preparation on your part, and I appreciate that. You spent some time to do that. So before we stop the live streaming, any other comments or questions from anyone? Oh, there's Fred giving a, I don't know what that is, but it's cute.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And if there's any questions anybody has, feel free to reach out and I'll answer you to my best ability.
So be sure to stay on. We're just going to stop live streaming. We usually stay on a little bit and to share any discoveries that we have or to chit chat. So
excellent. You can see my little one has just come barreling in, ready to.
Yeah, I saw that. So thank you all for coming, and I just want to remind everyone that it's important to do what you love with passion, and to tell you that next week we will be talking about emotions in communication. So so long for now, and we will see you again next week. And I need to Alt 4.